Okay, so this is the second part for April 18th homework with the fraction review, and I left off with number 4, so I will begin there. There we go. Starting with number 4, because we had just done number 3. Okay, so number 4, here we go. So we're going to do what's in the parentheses first. When we do what's in the parentheses first, we see a division problem, right? So with division, remember what to do. We never really divide, we multiply. And then we multiply by flipping. I'm going to see if I can reduce either this way or that way, okay? I know there's nothing here I can reduce. 5 and 4 are too close to each other in numbers, and anytime you have a 1 and a number, that's not going to reduce either. So I will just multiply straight across with these. 5 times 1 is 5. 6 times 4, 24. So I have 5 over 24. Let me bring that right here. 5 over 24. Don't forget the rest. Divide it by 3. Do yourself a favor. Wherever you find it, whatever side you find it on, keep it on that side. If you have put the 3 over here, you're going to end up with the wrong answer. Keep things where you find them. So now this is where I am with this, right? So I will divide. But you remember, when we divide, we're really multiplying, and we always flip the second number. The second number is the answer you just got, isn't it? If I'm keeping this over here, that makes the first number, and this is the second number. We always flip the second number only. I am now going to look to see if I can reduce. And long story short, I cannot. So I have 3 times 24, that's going to be 72. And 5 times 1 is 5. But you know you can't keep it like that because it's improper. So this is the part where you divide. 5 will go into 72 14 times if you look at your multiplication chart, even if you use a simple calculator. 14 times 5 is 70. I subtract, I have 2 left over. I now have the 3 parts to make my mixed number. 14 is the whole number, 2 the remainder is the numerator, and 5 is the denominator. So the answer for number 4 is 14 and 2/5. Going to number 5. This one was tricky, wasn't it? But we were doing this one in class. Let's do it again. If you have not got to this one in class yet, you're going to love this. So you know we're going to do what's in the parentheses first. And we have a double parentheses. But that parentheses isn't saying to do anything. So what this is saying is that, oh, I'm just telling you I'm a negative 9 over 5. So let's take a look at what we got in the outer set of parentheses. I have a negative plus a negative. What do we do when we have a negative plus a negative? Look at your energy sheet rule if you do not know. Same thing applies for fractions. A negative plus a negative, in the long run, when I'm done, is going to give me a negative. Negative plus a negative is a negative. All I have to do is just add these together now. Let's do that. Remember, adding or subtracting, you got to find a common denominator. This common denominator will be 5. 1 will go to 5 5 times. 5 times 2 is 10. 5 will go to 5 one time. 9 times 1 is 10, or 9. And remember, you're going to add, and we're going to get a final answer of negative, because negative plus a negative is a negative. So if I add, this is going to be negative 19 over 5. Okay? But don't forget, I got to bring the rest of that down. And I'm going to keep it on the side that I found it. See if you can reduce. Long story short, none of these are going to reduce if you looked at the multiplication chart. So I have a negative times a positive. See that? That 1/2 is positive. But my answer over here is negative. Negative times positive, you know it's going to give you a negative. 19 times 1 is 19. 5 times 2 is 10. Top heavy though. 10 will go to 19 one time. Giving me 10 and 9 left over. So this will equal, I'll just up here by space, 1 9 was left over, 10. But don't forget, it was negative. So negative 1 9/10 is your final answer for number 5. Number 8. Look at this. None of them are fractions, so this should be quite easy. First, let's do this part. You see this? It's a subtraction problem, okay? Don't look at this as -6, okay? What you have to look at it as is like this, okay? A -4 minus a +6. See that? If this was really a -6, the problem would have looked like this. -4 minus -6. But that's not what it looks like. So you have to read it for how you see it, which is -4 minus, no other negative sign, so that must be a +6. Now that you know you have a negative minus a positive, what do we do when we have negative minus a positive? Same thing we do with any subtraction problem. You change it to addition when you're working with integers. How? Look at your integer rule sheet. Step 1, change the problem to addition. Step 2, change the sign of the second number. Step 3, follow your addition rules. A negative plus a negative. When I have a negative plus a negative, I know my answer is negative. I just add 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All that equal to -10. But then I have this -3. Remember, it's -3. Why? Because this is negative, or -10. This is a -3, so that means this, well, this is a minus, so that means this has to be a +3, so minus +3. Again, if this were a -3, it would have looked like this, -10 minus -3. But you don't have that extra negative sign, so that means it's positive. Until we follow the subtraction rules. Subtraction rules, remember, -10 plus 3. Step 1, change it to an addition problem. Step 2, change the sign of the second digit. Now I have a -3. Step 3, follow the rules for addition. A negative plus a negative, okay? It's going to give me a negative, just add. My answer is -13 for number 8. Number 9, I'm going to do what's in parentheses first. I have a negative plus a positive, okay? Now I know when I have a negative plus a positive, I'm really going to subtract to keep the sign of the higher digit. But what's higher? A -4, 3, or 2? 2 is higher than 4 out of 3, okay? So all this is going to equal to 2 is 1 1/3 if you really think about it. If you change this to an improper fraction, you have 1 1/3. That still does not equal to 2. My 2 is bigger, so I know my final answer will be positive. If you don't understand it that way, follow this. First, find common denominators. You know your common denominator is going to be 3. 3 goes into 3 one time, 4 times 1 is 4. 1 goes into 3, 3 times 2 times 3 is 6. See that? Now that it's common denominators, I bet you can tell me which number is bigger now. The 4 out of 3 or the 6 out of 3? The 6 out of 3 is bigger. And guess what? That 6 out of 3 is also the 2. So once again, I know my final answer is going to be positive. Because when you have a negative plus a positive, okay, you must subtract. Keep the sign of the higher digit. So now that I know I have to subtract, oh my goodness, what's going on over here? So I have to subtract. This is what I'm going to do. I have 4 minus 6, and guess what that's going to give me? A -2. Excuse me, a +2 over 3. Remember, subtract, keep the sign of the higher digit. That 2 is higher. I subtracted and I got 2. Bottom number 3, +2, 3. Now I can multiply that with 11. Long story short, none of that is going to reduce. So I have 22 over 3. No, you can't keep it top-heavy. 3 will go into 23 7 times. 3 times 7 is 21. So really what I have is 7 and 1/3. Positive. All right. Number 10. Last one from the classwork side of your sheet. Remember, both sides need to be completed. So I'm already completing one side for you if we did not complete, if we did not complete them in class. Okay? So look at this. I have a subtraction problem, don't I? Yes, yes you do. How do I know? Because a negative minus a positive. A positive. See that? So what do we do when we have a subtraction problem? We change it to addition. Keep the first one the same, right? Change the problem to addition, right? Change the sign of the second number. If my second number is positive, it is now negative. Follow your addition rules. A negative plus a negative. My final answer is going to be negative. I'm just going to add these two together. So I'm just going to move this one underneath here because I need to find matching bottom numbers, don't I? So I'll just move it over like this way because you don't like to set it up vertically. And remember, answer is going to be negative. We're just going to add them together. Bottom number is going to be 6. 2 will go into 6 3 times. 1 times 3 is 3. 3 goes into 6 2 times. 3 times 2 is 6. So that gives me 9 over 6. So all that part equaled is negative 9 over 6. And then I'm going to do this too. Negative 9 over 6. See that? Minus 2. But remember, let's not forget, you have a negative minus a positive. And when we subtract, we have to follow those 3 rules again. Change the sign to addition. Change the sign of the second number. And then I follow my addition rules. I have a negative plus a negative, don't I? And what do we do when we have a negative plus a negative? You know our answer is going to be negative. I just need to add this and this together. Let me make some room to do that. Actually, I'll just do it right here so you see what I'm talking about. Negative 6, 9, add with a 2, 1 underneath here. Remember, we're going to add these, and your answer will be negative because you have negative plus a negative. Bottom number is going to be 6. 6 will go to 1 times. 9 times 1 is 9. That will stay the same. Remember, that's negative. 1 will go into 6. 6 times. 2 times 6 is 12. Now let's add on. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Okay? 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. I had 21 over 6. Six will go to 6 1 time. 1 times 9 is 9. Wait, I'm backing up for a second because something doesn't feel right. Okay, so I have negative 9 minus this, which gave me 9 over 6 and a 2 over 1. 6 gives 1, that's 9. 1 will go into 6. 6 times 2 is 12. So I got 21 over 6. Okay? So I'm thinking this is right. I don't know. If it's not, I'm sure somebody will point it out to me tomorrow. Alright, 6 will go into 21 3 times. 3 times 6 is 18, 19, 20, 21. And 3 over 6, which equals 3 1/2. I got a feeling that was wrong. So if you came up with a different answer, show me tomorrow. I'm out of time for this video. So I look forward to seeing you tomorrow with your work completed front and back. I might actually do some of your homework questions from the back. No, actually, I don't think I will. You have 10 problems on your own. See you guys tomorrow. Bye.